everyone, and welcome to Live at 4 on this Thursday. Susan is at home after doing a little traveling out of abundance of caution. Good to see you.
Good to see you as well. How you doing? It's nice. It's warm enough. I don't have to have the fireplace on today. It feels great.
Yeah, we opened up the windows at home.
Yeah, it feels wonderful. Just
for today, I guess. We'll get to the weather in just a bit, but first, here's what's making news on this Thursday. Dane County officials say within a day, they've seen a rapid spread of COVID-19 among inmates. Ahead of that news, Dane County's top public health official once again asking people to stay home as nearly 11,000 people test positive in 1 month. And local election officials are on the recount clock. We'll tell you how long Dane County and Milwaukee County's recount could take. But first at 4, 71 of the state's 72 counties are experiencing what doctors call critically high levels of disease spread. Greene County is the lone state not in the critically high category. This comes as health officials today notify nearly 6,000 people that they've had the virus and need to quarantine. Sadly, 71 more people have died, edging the state's total to nearly 3,000. In just the last 24 hours, nearly 24 more Dane County jail inmates have tested positive for COVID-19. That's on top of the surge we first told you about yesterday when we learned 16 inmates had the virus.
Our Madeline O'Neill is live at the Public Safety Building, and she joins us now with more on what we're learning this afternoon. Maddie?
Well, with nearly 40 inmates here now testing positive for COVID-19, a Dane County Sheriff's Office spokesperson calls the increase alarming. Now, as we learned yesterday, a spike can come on fast. Just last week, there was only one inmate who tested positive for COVID-19. Yesterday, the sheriff told us in an exclusive interview that 16 inmates had tested positive after incoming inmates brought the virus into the initial housing unit where they quarantined for 14 days before going to other parts of the jail. Now, today, the sheriff's office says a short time later, a number of inmates in another quarantine housing unit started showing symptoms. That entire unit was tested, resulting in an additional 22 positive cases as of noon today. Now, the sheriff just told us that of those new cases, many are asymptomatic or only have mild symptoms. Coming up at 5, we'll hear from the sheriff on what else they're doing to deal with the situation and why they say this is really related to community spread.
We will see you at 5. Madeline O'Neill reporting live. Maddie, thank you. The United States has passed another grim milestone today, more than 250,000 coronavirus deaths. With cases and hospitalizations surging nationwide, federal health officials today are now releasing a new recommendation ahead of the Thanksgiving holiday. Laura Podesta reports from New York.
The CDC is strongly pushing against traveling this Thanksgiving holiday as the coronavirus rages out of control.
The safest way to celebrate Thanksgiving this year is at home with the people who live in your household.
More than 250,000 people in the U.S. have now died from COVID-19. More than 19,000 so far this month. There's been more than 1 million cases nationwide in the past week.
The increase in cases over the last week is really alarming for all of us.
In Idaho, hospitals are nearing capacity. Doctors there are concerned they'll soon have to ration hospital beds.
We may be facing that scenario in December.
In an unprecedented move, 100 hospitals teamed up for a public service announcement, pleading with the American public to wear masks.
Schools are safe! Schools are safe!
In New York City, parents and children protested the city's decision to switch the public school system to all remote learning.
Our most vulnerable kids need schools to be open.
Parents point out that the infection rate in city schools is well below 1%. But Mayor Bill de Blasio defended the decision.
We can't just stand pat with a strategy that worked before when conditions are changing. We need to reset the equation.
He says rising cases in the city and the country made the switch necessary. Laura Podesta, CBS News, New York.
And due to the rising cases, the Smithsonian museums, including the National Zoo, have announced that they're closing starting this Monday.
City and public health officials are offering their strongest warnings yet about gathering during the upcoming Thanksgiving holiday. Eric Franke joins us now with how they are urging people to avoid get-togethers. Eric?
Yeah, Mark and Susan, based on these numbers the last month or so in Dane County, the last thing public health officials want to see right now is another surge due to some big holiday gatherings. Dane County's almost doubled its its count of COVID-19 cases in just the past month. A quarter of those patients say they attended a gathering in the past 2 weeks, and it's likely even higher than that. And consider this. If you're with a group of 10 people, there's a 34% chance someone in that group is positive. Now, that number jumps to almost a 50-50 chance if that is a group of 15.
In years past, many of us have had 15 or more people gather for a Thanksgiving meal. This year, it's nearly a coin flip whether at least one person there will have COVID. No one should feel comfortable with those odds.
So they say talk to your family members now about your Thanksgiving plans for next week if you haven't already. Plan on meeting virtually. Maybe take a small group hike outdoors or drop food and gifts off at homes without any contact. Emergency Order 10 went into effect yesterday, very early, 12:01 in the morning. That means no indoor gatherings with anyone outside your immediate family. They say they will revisit that order before it expires on December 16th to see how things are going. Of course, then with Christmas shortly after that, just 5 weeks from tomorrow is Christmas. Isn't it, Mark?
All right, thank you, Eric. Let's take a look outside on this breezy day. Look at these turkeys flapping around in the wind. The weather word is not as mild tomorrow. Chris Reese is in the Chris Reese Weather Center with the details on.
Yeah, Mark, we are seeing mild temperatures out there. It has certainly been breezy, though. It was another day coming off of yesterday, which was windy as well. Once again, some of those wind gusts were upwards of 25, 35 miles per hour or so, but still, with those winds out of the south and the filtered sunshine, we were truly able to warm on up. This is a 24-hour temperature change. We're 13 degrees warmer than we were at this exact same time yesterday, and look at that. A beautiful shot as the sun begins to set on the horizon. Those high cirrus clouds providing the ice crystal for some spectacular color. We're at 61 though. That's exactly what the forecast high was. We hit it nail on the head. That's some good news. The air is calm as well. Temperatures will start to try to drop here in just a bit, but once again with the winds out of the south, I don't expect them to fall all that much. 64 in Janesville, Boscoville at 65. We're at 58 as you work your way towards the Dells. We're not expecting any kind of shower activity as we go throughout the evening as well, but here we are by 10 o'clock. A couple of clouds try to stream on in. That's going to hinder our ability to drop in terms of temperature, and that's going to keep them steady into the mid-50s and then eventually the 40s as we move throughout the overnight hours. Traffic-wise, so far, so good. No big issues, but we are seeing your typical slowdowns that you would expect for this time of the day on a Thursday. We'll continue to watch the Beltline along with other routes as we go throughout the show. I'll have the full weekend forecast closer to 4:30.
All right, we'll see you then. Thank you, Chris. The President-elect and Vice President Pence are both focused on the coronavirus today. Meanwhile, President Trump is still focused on fighting the election results. President-elect Joe Biden and Vice President-elect Kamala Harris met virtually with a bipartisan group of state governors as COVID cases surge across the country. CBS News has learned some current and former government officials have had limited contact with the Biden-Harris team, but the president-elect says the delay in a full transition could hamper his upcoming administration's response. But President Trump and his legal team continue to focus on overturning the election results.
Joe Biden is in the lead because of the fraudulent ballots.
My transition team hasn't been able to get access to information we need to be able to deal with everything from testing and guidance to the all-important issue of vaccines, distributions.
The pandemic is also front and center for Vice President Mike Pence, who led a second meeting this week of the coronavirus task force. President-elect Biden is starting to finalize his top contenders for cabinet positions. Pete Buttigieg and Senator Bernie Sanders are being considered for roles. Former Deputy National Security Advisor Tony Blinken is said to be the front runner for Secretary of State.
It is a day of preparation in Dane and Milwaukee counties. Tomorrow, election officials will start recounting all of the ballots there as ordered by the Wisconsin Elections Commission. Early this morning, the counties will have 13 days from the order to complete the process. That includes both cross-referencing voter numbers with registrations and actually counting each ballot.
I know that the eyes of the world will be on these two Wisconsin counties for the next few weeks.
The board also approved changes to the official recount manual to allow for public health guidance during the recount. The county's board of canvassers get to decide whether they count by hand, machine, or both.
When we come back, December 1st marks the start of the climatological winter. It's a season of change for all living creatures. The Aldo Leopold Foundation has a new calendar highlighting when hundreds of events in nature are expected to happen. Find out how you can get a calendar when Live at 4 continues.
You're watching News 3 Now, live at 4.
Keep your home and family warm and cozy this winter with a new degree of comfort from your local Rheem contractor.
Feel the Wohlers difference. Call Wohlers Heating and Air Conditioning today. Serving Dane County for over 45 years.
At Mounds Pet Food Warehouse, we know that no two pets are the same. That's why each of our 5 southern Wisconsin locations is wall-to-wall with everything you and your pet need, including dog food, cat food, pet beds, thousands of toys, treats, and chews, and supplies for your small animals, birds, and reptiles, too. With so many options, finding what you need is easy. You gotta get down to Mounds and see for yourself. Mounds Pet Food Warehouse powers them all. And don't forget your free Mounds candy bar.
Busted? Original Gorilla Glue, of course. Works indoor, works outdoor. It's weatherproof, it's waterproof. It's versatile and incredibly strong for the toughest jobs on planet Earth.
I got your back, you got mine. Think about you all the time. Together we can come through. That's what love's made of. Give thanks, no matter how you share it.
If your dry eye symptoms keep coming back, inflammation in your eye might be to blame.
Looks like a great day for achy, burning eyes.
Over-the-counter eye drops typically work by lubricating your eyes and may provide temporary relief.
Ha! These drops probably won't touch me.
Xiidra works differently, targeting inflammation that can cause dry eye disease.
What is that? Xiidra? No!
It can provide lasting relief.
Oh.
Xiidra is the only FDA-approved treatment specifically for the signs and symptoms of dry eye disease. 1 drop in each eye, twice a day. Don't use if you're allergic to Xiidra. Common side effects include eye irritation, discomfort, or blurred vision when applied to the eye, and unusual taste sensation. Don't touch container tip to your eye or any surface. After using Xiidra, wait 15 minutes before reinserting contacts.
Got any room in your eye?
Talk to an eye doctor about twice daily Xiidra.
I'd prefer you didn't.
Xiidra. Not today, dry eye.
Let me introduce me. Here I come. Yeah.
Cuts, colors, braids, and fades. We stand for style. Cost Cutter Salons.
#1 in color in Wisconsin.
I love to equal the playing field. I love to help people and allow them to feel like they are powerful instead of powerless. We're with our clients every step of the way.
Gingras, Thompson & Walks.
Is your home giving you the cold shoulder? Fight back with a new energy-saving furnace from your local Rheem contractor.
Feel the Wohlers difference. Call Wohlers Heating and Air Conditioning today. Serving Dane County for over 45 years.
Welcome back. Black women are the fastest growing group of entrepreneurs, but face a major hurdle when it comes to starting and maintaining their businesses.
The number of women-owned businesses grew 21% from 2014 to 2019. Numbers for black women grew even faster at 50%. Yet Kimmy Pollock with Venture Academy Beta Boom says black women receive less than 1% of venture capital.
Instead of asking them about upside, we're asking about downside. Like, tell me how this is going to go wrong. So just throughout, there are just so many roadblocks and obstacles that are preventing women, and black women specifically, from getting funding.
To fight that disparity, Beta Boom developed New Pattern Utah. The movement joined with 3 other organizations to provide grants and mentorship for black women-led businesses in the state. New Pattern is looking to expand their program nationwide to give businesses access to the funding they need to thrive. New Pattern has also launched in Chicago. Since the killing of George Floyd, other investment and grant-making firms have also joined the movement to support more black-owned businesses. Weekly unemployment filings rose to 742,000 last week as the country continues to grapple with a surge in coronavirus cases.
The total number of Americans receiving unemployment is at 6.4 million, but millions more still out of work have seen their benefits run out. A recent study finds 1 in 4 adults is having trouble paying bills during the pandemic, but many people don't know that bills can be negotiated. CBS News business analyst Jill Schlesinger said, make sure you understand the terms of any deal to postpone payment, whether there are fees, penalties, and for how long.
And this is true whether you're dealing with a big landlord, a utility company, a cable provider. These folks on the other end of the line, they actually don't want to punish you. They want to help you out.
Schlesinger says some people may need to consider bankruptcy, but that should only come as a last resort. Congress has so far failed to agree on a new financial relief package, and according to a new report from the Century Foundation, another 12 million Americans will lose benefits from 2 key federal programs that expire the day after Christmas. Despite that news and a COVID surge, stocks managed some gains today. The Dow Industrials up 44 points, closing at 29,483. The NASDAQ added 103. The S&P 500 was up 14. Well, as the seasons change, plants and animals in Wisconsin have to adapt. The study of how plants and animals so precisely adapt to seasonal change is called phenology.
Aldo Leopold started keeping detailed phenology records in the 1930s, and the Aldo Leopold Foundation continues to keep those records today. The foundation shares that information every year by producing a phenology calendar that highlights when hundreds of events in nature are expected to occur. Stan Temple is a professor emeritus in conservation at UW-Madison and a senior fellow at the Aldo Leopold Foundation. Stan, it's so good to see you again.
Welcome back
to Live at 4.
Thank you for inviting me back to talk about phenology.
Yes, it's very interesting. Tell us what the study of phenology involves.
Well, it's something that human beings have probably been doing as long as we've been human beings. That is keeping track of the changing seasons by observing the changes that are happening in nature. And phenology as a science, as a study, keeps track of when certain events in nature, like the blooming of plants or the comings and goings of migratory birds, when those things happen during the year. And they're particularly focused on when the first event of the year happens. So when you see that first flower blooming, when you see that first bird arriving in your yard, those are the things that phenologists keep track of. And Aldo Leopold was a passionate follower of phenology. He kept track of over 300 events. And the Aldo Leopold Foundation continues that tradition today.
So what do we learn from studying this?
Well, it's very interesting to see how all these species of plants and animals around us have adapted to the seasons. And of course, in Wisconsin, we not only have the changing seasons to deal with, but changing weather, and how plants and animals manage to precisely time their seasonal events so that they're arriving, if you're a migratory bird, at the right time, so that you're giving birth to your young at the right time, is really very precise. So the calendar that we produce every year gives you a chance day by day throughout the year to anticipate or know ahead of time what event is likely to be happening at that particular day.
So even with everything changing, and it's been as challenging for humans as it is, for the animals, all species, they adapt. Or is it more challenging for some species than others?
Well, what we're finding as the climate in Wisconsin is changing is that some species are adapting very nicely, and they're adjusting their seasonal events so that they match our changing climate. But there are other species that unfortunately are not quite as good at adapting to these rapid changes that we're experiencing now. And those species are, of course, going to be at a disadvantage.
I assume we're seeing birds and plants and animals that we haven't seen before because of the climate change.
Well, that's also true. Animals, in particular, because they're mobile, can actually shift their geographic distribution in response to the changing climate. So absolutely, we're seeing especially very mobile animals like birds showing up in Wisconsin that used to be further to the south.
It's a fascinating calendar.
Is this why we see robins stand, you know, in the middle of winter sometimes, or late in the winter?
That's exactly right, Susan. For a lot of birds that formerly left Wisconsin during the winter, our winters have become milder and milder, so they're now staying throughout the year. And that's why, for example, robins are, well, they still do come back in large numbers in the spring, but they're no longer that reliable harbinger of spring that they used to be. They're here year-round.
It is a fascinating calendar. I couldn't put it down, so I think it's a perfect gift for any Wisconsinite. Stan,
well,
thanks for being with us today.
We hope people will enjoy it. It can be ordered from the Aldo Leopold Foundation at aldoleopold.org.
All right. Thanks again, Stan.
You're welcome.
Stan, great to see you. Thank you so much. Stay well. And as Stan just mentioned, the 2021 Phenology calendars, they cost $15, and you can order one online at aldoleopold.org. Like you said, Mark, it's a great holiday gift.
Yeah, it really is. Well, still to come at 4, it's Pancreatic Cancer Awareness Day. We'll find out what's being done to combat this often fatal form of cancer coming up after Chris's forecast.
Black Friday starts now at Ashley Home Store. Save up to 60% off doorbusters and special holiday buys available now. Plus, get our very best Black Friday bonus deals, up to an extra 20% off our sale prices store-wide. Bring the holidays home early at Ashley Home Store.
Still hard to find a spot, just easier to park. Still the big move, just more moving. Still singing, just more in tune. Still the gang's all here, just less are we there yet. The Chevy family of SUVs, making life's journey just better.
Now, during the Chevy Cyber Sales event, use $500 Cyber Cash on most SUVs when you unlock your code. That's around $179 a month on this 2020 Trax for qualified lessees.
We drive everywhere to help our son reach his dream of becoming an elite swimmer. So we enrolled in the Know Your Drive program with American Family Insurance. It gives us discounts for safe driving and other benefits, like emergency roadside service, which comes in handy, no matter where his dreams take him. With Know Your Drive, save up to 20% and get closer to your dreams. American Family Insurance. Insure carefully, dream fearlessly.
Where can a healthier heart lead you? For people with heart failure taking Entresto, it may lead to a world of possibilities. Entresto is a heart failure medicine prescribed by most cardiologists. It was proven superior at helping people stay alive and out of the hospital. Heart failure can change the structure of your heart, so it may not work as well. Entresto helps improve your heart's ability to pump blood to the body. And with a healthier heart, there's no telling where life may take you. Don't take Entresto if pregnant. It can cause harm or death to an unborn baby. Don't take Entresto with an ACE inhibitor or aliskiren, or if you've had angioedema with an ACE or ARB. The most serious side effects are angioedema, low blood pressure, kidney problems, or high blood potassium. Ask your doctor about Entresto for heart failure. And trust your heart to Entresto.
Let's holiday. Let's light it up and dish it up. Let's stuff turkeys as well as stockings and never miss out on the mistletoe. Let's turn fresh into festive and festive into flavorful. Let's fill the kitchen with holiday sear and make memories over a cookie dough covered table. Let's carve it and share it, then savor it with a side and know where I'd rather be. Let's make a toast to what truly matters most, because the holidays are here, and no one does the holidays like festival foods.
Black Friday appliance deals start now at Furniture and Appliance Mart. Save up to 50% off doorbusters from top brands now. And pay no interest for 18 months. Plus free quick ship drop-off delivery at Furniture and Appliance Mart inside Ashley Home Store off the Beltline.
Well, take a look at this. A big-eyed traveler hitched a ride of more than 3 hours nestled inside the Christmas tree that would end up at Rockefeller Center. The truck driver says he found the baby owl staring at him when he was setting up the iconic 75-foot tree. Experts say the owl was probably trapped inside the tree when they tied the tree up. Thankfully, he's in great shape. The owl, of course, now named Rockefeller, will be released back into the wild once he recovers. He's a lucky
sweet baby.
Lucky little guy, that's for sure. I guess you never think of that. There's birds in those trees, and they just wrap it up. So I'm glad he's okay. Chris, a little windy out there for an owl in a tree.
Yeah, the wind is certainly something we've dealt with. That'll relax somewhat as we go through time, but I'm looking towards the weekend and into early next week. We've had great weather, but a couple of rain chances are coming our way. Forecast next.
We've been helping families make joy for over 100 years, and we're not taking this year off. So the Ford Built for the Holiday sales event begins now. We're giving you the best deals of the season on select Ford SUVs and Ford Fusion. So get the family together and make some joy this season. Ford Built for the Holidays. Get Explorer with 0% financing for 60 months plus $2,500 cash back and $2,000 trade assist during the Built for the Holidays sales event.
Hi folks, Joe Namath here, and if you're on Medicare, today is one of the only days of this year you can update your coverage and benefits. Before the deadline, you're entitled to eliminate copays and get dental, prescriptions, transportation, and meals at no additional cost. Plus, your zip code may have coverage with the Give Back benefit that adds money back to your Social Security check every month.
I called to get dental, transportation, meals, and the Give Back benefit. They helped me so much.
With this virus situation, I called to get everything I'm entitled to. I couldn't believe I was missing out on so many benefits.
With the uncertainty of the virus, you need to get everything you're entitled to. Millions of people have trusted the Medicare Coverage Helpline. You can too. Don't miss the deadline. Call now. It's free.
Call 1-800-681-4397. That's 1-800-681-4397 now.
Wisconsin is a home of workers. We know what needs to get done, and we do it. Yet, we've been hit hard, some harder than others. Our contact may be limited, but we still can lift each other up. The Keep Wisconsin Warm Cool Fund and your local energy providers are working together to help keep your heat and power on. You may not ask for it, but we want you to know we're here.
Bring your wish list because it's Christmas time at the Bruce Company. Maybe the weather outside is frightful, but the Bruce Company has what you need to make this season delightful. Celebrate being home for the holidays with gifts for everyone on your list, from toys to ornaments, decorations, and more. Don't forget to bring the family and explore our huge selection of artificial and fresh-cut trees. Celebrate being home for the holidays with the Bruce Company, your holiday experts.
News 3 Now First Warn Weather is brought to you by Lazy Boy Home Furnishings and Decor.
Discover a shopping and design experience as comfortable as the furniture. Lazy Boy Home Furnishings and Decor. Schedule your free design consultation today.
What a day with warm temperatures for this time of the year. We topped out some 20 degrees above average with those highs this afternoon, and it already feels so much warmer just compared to the weather we had yesterday afternoon. 16 degrees warmer in Chicago, 13 degrees warmer in Madison. Temperatures throughout this part of the country remain in the 50s and 60s through us, but 70s just back towards the south and west. Dodge City, Kansas at 76 degrees right now. We had a warm front on top of us. That will continue to move towards the north and east. Then later on tonight, the cold front back towards the west. That slips on through. That's going to be changing our wind direction. So tomorrow we'll see a northwesterly wind, and that means temperatures will be just a little bit cooler for us. Here's high resolution Doppler right now. It is all clear, but there will be a minor increase in cloud cover. Winds are starting to relax now as well. We've had these strong winds all day long, gusting upwards to 30 miles per hour. Those are now gone by the wayside. Our strongest wind gusts are in Janesville, right around 23. Check out this shot right here, the Edgewater Sky Camera. A beautiful sunset out there, and temperatures are still comfortable at 61. The air is calm as well. This makes for a quaint night and really a treat of a night when you consider the time of the year and the fact that we're entering into late November at this point. 64 in Janesville. Kenosha also at 64. Boscobel at 65. 50s throughout central Wisconsin. Those 50s will continue to move on towards the south. This is 2 o'clock in the morning. morning. We're still at 49 degrees at that point. We'll only likely cool down into the low 40s for your overnight lows. This is tomorrow at lunchtime, though. With that northerly wind, we never truly warm back up all that well. So now we're at 48 by lunch. Look for those highs topping out right around 50 for tomorrow, and then we'll see a little bit more cloud cover start to move in for your Saturday, but still, we're going to start out in the 20s before we move into the 30s for those highs on Saturday afternoon. We've been watching a storm system for the weekend all week long. Good news, that storm system has trended further towards the south. This means we're going to see the cloud cover, but the odds of actually seeing any rain or snow out of the system are on the lower side moving into the weekend. But I'm still watching another system for Tuesday of next week. That one may start with some wintry weather Tuesday morning before going over to some rain showers in the afternoon and evening. We'll watch that closely. In the meantime, enjoy what I expect to be a fairly pleasant Friday, and then still another pattern that's overall drier with temperatures that are trending above average overall. That does not mean you may not have a below average day, because below average days are in the forecast, but the overall pattern is one that'll be warmer than normal. 39 on Saturday, 40 for Sunday, 38 on Monday. We see that next system coming in for Tuesday into Wednesday. Then we are smooth sailing for Thanksgiving and into the weekend beyond.
All right, looking good. Thank you, Chris. November is Pancreatic Cancer Awareness Month, which is why you might have noticed that we're wearing purple today.
Yes, we are, and proud to support the cause. Our Christina Laurie shows us what the fight for better treatment options look like in Madison.
Pancreatic cancer is already the second leading cause of all cancer deaths here in Wisconsin, and the UW Health's Pancreas Care Clinic is leading the fight when it comes to medical breakthroughs and better treatment options. This clinic treats 1/3 of all of the state's patients. The Pancreas Care Clinic is one of the UW's newest innovations for treating patients with pancreas conditions. It's made up of two distinct clinics, the Pancreas Mass Clinic, which opened last fall, and the Pancreas Cancer Prevention Clinic, which opened at the start of the pandemic. Both clinics are staffed with around 30 providers, from medical and surgical oncologists to gastroenterologists, clinical geneticists, and radiologists that work together in teams to develop individualized treatment plans to prolong patients' lives while minimizing their side effects. These men and women have helped about 180 new patients so far this year. 40 are currently staying at UW Health for treatment, but that number itself is an underrepresentation of the total number of patients with pancreatic cancer, since people diagnosed with metastatic cancer go directly to the medical oncology unit.
It's very important to be that aware and be an advocate of your own health. If you think something's wrong, let your doctor know, and if you still think it's wrong and they're not listening, push harder. I think that's what's very important, because the symptoms are so vague, so people kind of brush them off as something else.
The UW's Pancreas Clinic is also the leading local hub for research. Right now, researchers are studying more than 500 patients to identify early signs they're at risk for developing pancreatic cancer. They're using specialized imaging technology to look for cysts developing on the pancreas so they can intervene before those ever become cancerous. Researchers anticipate that 950 Wisconsinites will ultimately die of complications of pancreatic cancer before the end of this year, and another 1,100 in all will find out that they have the disease. So that's why today it's so important to wear your purple, and more importantly, tell people why.
Christina Laurie, thank you. There's more to come at 4. Dr. Zorba Pastor will join us next. And tonight at 5, Wisconsin unemployment rate is on the rise again. Hear from someone who says they've been waiting months for unemployment checks. That's coming up at 5.
Black Friday starts now at Ashley Home Store. Save up to 60% off doorbusters and special holiday buys available now. Plus, get our very best Black Friday bonus deals, up to an extra 20% off our sale prices store-wide. Bring the holidays home early at Ashley Home Store.
Who is USAA made for? It's made for this guy, a veteran who honorably served. And it's made for her. She's serving now. We made it for all branches and all ranks, whether they served one tour or made a career of it. We also made USAA for military spouses and their kids. USAA is easy to work with and can save you money on auto, home, and renter's insurance. Become a member today. Get an insurance quote at usaa.com/quote. USAA. What you're made of, we're made for.
We are the Thrivers. Women with metastatic breast cancer. Standing in the struggle. Hustling through the hurt. Asking for science, not sorries. Our time for more time has come. Living longer is possible and proven in women taking Kisqali plus fulvestrant or a non-steroidal aromatase inhibitor. Kisqali is the only treatment in its class with proven overall survival results in 2 clinical trials, helping women live longer with HR-positive, HER2-negative metastatic breast cancer. Kisqali was also significantly more effective at delaying disease progression versus a non-steroidal aromatase inhibitor or fulvestrant alone. Kisqali can cause lung problems or an abnormal heartbeat, which can lead to death. It can cause serious skin reactions, liver problems, and low white blood cell counts that may result in severe infections. Tell your doctor right away if you have new or worsening symptoms, including breathing problems, cough, chest pain, a change in your heartbeat, dizziness, yellowing of the skin or eyes, dark urine, tiredness, loss of appetite, abdomen pain, bleeding, bruising, fever, chills, or other symptoms of an infection, a severe or worsening rash, are or plan to become pregnant or breastfeeding. Avoid grapefruit during treatment. Kisqali is not approved for use with tamoxifen. It's our time to continue to shine because we are the Thrivers. Ask your doctor about Kisqali, the only treatment in its class proven to help women live longer in 2 clinical trials.
Black Friday appliance deals start now at Furniture and Appliance Mart. Save up to 50% off doorbusters from top brands now and pay no interest for 18 months. Plus free quick ship drop-off delivery at Furniture and Appliance Mart inside Ashley Home Store off the Beltline.
At 5, it's been 8 months since the Department of Workforce Development started paying unemployment claims because of the pandemic. Some residents are still waiting for their benefits.
After a windy and very mild day, high temperatures will drop back to around 50 degrees for tomorrow and back to near normal levels for this weekend. My News 3 Now First Warn forecast at 5.
And then at 6, we're less than a day away from the official start of the recount in Dane and Milwaukee counties. We'll take a look at the last-minute preparations at 6. Here's a live look from our Edgewater Skycam. What a beautiful sunset overlooking Lake Mendota and the UW campus. Beautiful day today. It's already a tough job with low pay, but teachers are suffering even further in this pandemic.
A recent survey of teachers nationwide finds 28% say they've considered retiring early or leaving the profession altogether due to stress and health concerns. 8 months into the pandemic, some students, teachers say, still don't have what they need for remote learning. Schools across the country have implemented a patchwork of different learning plans, but it's teachers faced with the pressure to carry them out. David Finkel has been teaching for 29 years, and he says he has never had a year as stressful as this.
We are end of the year tired. We reach a point near the end of the year where you're like, wow, summer can't come soon enough. And we already feel that way.
An Illinois Education Association study found 27% of surveyed teachers say they would consider giving it up completely because it's too hard with distance learning. Chicago Public Schools announced they'll return to in-person learning in January.
Well, we've heard some rare good news in the last few weeks when it comes to the coronavirus pandemic, as 2 vaccine trials seem to be very successful.
At the same time, as we said at the top of the show, the nation has hit another milestone. More than 250,000 people across the country have died of COVID-19. That is about the population of the city of Madison. Joining us today to talk about all of that and a newly released at-home test kit is our Dr. Zorba Pastor.
Hi, Zorba.
Hi, good to see you guys.
Later on, we'll take your calls at 270-9933. We'll let you know when to call in. First, let's talk about these 2 vaccines. It's pretty encouraging news. news.
Very encouraging. I mean, science, the technology is really amazing. These are messenger RNA vaccines. The important thing about this is, first of all, within 1 year, we have not one but 2 vaccines, and we may have more vaccines. Uses a different technology. It's different from the way we did the polio virus vaccine, all the other vaccines that we have, and the technology may actually bode well for the future. Both vaccines, the real protection comes from how many people were actually kept out of the hospital and kept out of getting serious disease. And the answer was many, many, many people. In other words, it was 95%. So in other words, some people may literally get a little cold, but people, 95% of them did not end up with anything serious. I think this is dynamite. Both vaccines will have some issues with transportation. The Pfizer one has to be kept super low in transport, but once it's actually diluted, it actually keeps for a week in normal storage, normal refrigerator. So we've got some challenges out there, but the fact is, folks, we have new vaccines. Next year at this time, when we're talking, we're going to have Thanksgiving.
That is great news.
Oh, Zorba, that is such great news. Let's talk a little bit about the news about this at-home test kit. How would that work, and could that possibly be reliable?
A very interesting test kit. I haven't looked at the data. They didn't do it on a ton of people, but they did it on enough so the FDA said this looks very good. It would be like a pregnancy test kit. I mean, what you would do is you would basically put a swab into your nose, put it into a container. 15 minutes later, you see whether or not it's positive or it's negative. And it's not as if it's going to come on the market right away, but the FDA said this data looks good. It looks like it really has very significant in terms of its sensitivity and its specificity, but it remains to be seen. Just like the other tests, we're rushing to market, even though we don't have 100% of the data. But the idea that you could do it at home is good. You won't be able to do it without a doctor's prescription because it goes to a doctor's office. That is not unusual when something first comes out. Often we want to keep it under medical care because if it's positive, you want to know what to do, and that's why you'll have to be connected to a healthcare provider.
But we're not sure how accurate it is at this time.
I don't think we know what the accuracy. The accuracy is reasonable. What is reasonable? Well, I think the FDA looks at reasonable, and I can't get the exact number, but it's got to be at least in the 60-70% I'm picking it up. And to give an idea, the influenza test picks up 60 to 65% of all the influenza. In other words, the false negative rate on a typical influenza testing site from swab to the test is about 30 or 35%. So the influenza test is far from perfect. If this fits at least within that range, I think it's good news because the more we test, the more we'll treat. And until that time, it's mask up, wash your hands, social distance, get society moving by doing that, and believe in science. Don't believe in myth.
All right, 270-9933 is the number to call. We'll get to your calls right after this. Stay with us.
This is it. The new iPhone. Yeah, and it's 5G.
Is that more G's than mine?
Yours is 4G, Dad. This one is way faster.
Well, it's only 1G faster.
The new iPhone 12 Pro is way faster. Plus, US Cellular has the #1 ranked network.
You know, when I was your age, we used to get by with only half a G, and it was lowercase.
Oh.
We'll take 2.
The amazing iPhone 12 Pro and iPhone 12 are here. Switch and get iPhone 12 on us with no hidden requirements. US Cellular.
Joint pain, swelling, tenderness.
My psoriasis. Cosentix works on all of this.
Cosentix can help you look and feel better by treating the multiple symptoms of psoriatic arthritis. Don't use if you're allergic to Cosentix. Before starting, get checked for tuberculosis. An increased risk of infections and lowered ability to fight them may occur. Tell your doctor about an infection or symptoms. If your inflammatory bowel disease symptoms develop or worsen, or if you've had a vaccine or plan to, serious allergic reactions may occur.
Watch me.
Get real relief with Cosentix.
Protect the people in your life from COVID-19, you help protect everyone in our community. Learn how you can stop the spread at dhs.wisconsin.gov/COVID-19.
I was just sitting for dinner when my phone buzzed. My mother says, "You never call your mother." And I'm like, "I've had a lot on my plate." And she goes, speaking of plates, are you eating better? And I'm like, I'm just having grilled chicken and broccoli from Quick Trip. I discovered take-home meals that their super cute cashier Ashley would tell you are freshly made and absolutely delicious. And Mom's like, Ashley? And I'm like, gotta go, call you soon. Mom never misses a beat.
Quick Trip, we got you covered.
If you're at home thinking about your financial plan, so are we. Prudential helps 1 in 7 Americans with their financial needs. That's over 25 million people. With over 90 years of investment experience, our thousands of financial professionals can help with secure video chat or on the phone. We make it easy for you with online tools, e-signatures, and no medical exam life insurance. Plan for better days. Go to Prudential.com or talk to an advisor.
Have some home projects on your list? Whether it's a fix now or fix up down the road, count on Home Advisor's trusted local pros to get the job done right. It's easy to schedule, check prices, and pay for all your home projects. So get the Home Advisor app and we'll do everything to fix your everything.
It's no secret, Robertson is Wisconsin's aesthetic leader. But with results this natural, patients can keep it a secret if they want. Our secret to the best skin of your life, HydraFacials. Book a free consultation to learn how HydraFacials are different at Robertson.
Well, Santa Claus is coming to town. Just don't try to sit on his lap. Malls and retail stores are doing all they can to keep the jolly old man and the children who meet him safe from COVID-19, including banning children from sitting on his knee, no matter if they've been naughty or nice. An acrylic barrier separates the children from Santa, but it's glare-free, so the keepsake picture is not ruined by the camera's flash. Macy's in New York canceled its in-person visit this year, saying it couldn't provide a safe environment for the more than 250,000 people who normally show up to see Santa at its New York flagship store. Well, it's time to get your coronavirus questions answered live.
If you have a question for Dr. Zorba Pastor, he's standing by at his clinic in Oregon. The number to call, 270-9933. And our first caller is Diane in Janesville. Hi, Diane.
Hi. Hi, everyone.
Hi, what's your question?
Yes, my question in regards to the coronavirus is when you have maybe a few people or whatever in your home, is it advisable to use a ceiling fan, or would that be doing more damage?
Well, first of all, if you don't want to have anyone in your home that's not part of your bubble. So if, for instance, if it's your spouse, that's fine. But if you have a couple of people in the house who you see all the time and you know about them, that's a different issue. But if you have people who are coming into the house, let's say, who are working on a broken dishwasher or something else, they should be masked, you should be masked. And the reality is having the windows open and having a fan on, probably not a bad idea. But the reality is we don't want to get close to other people. That's the whole idea behind it. And the reason is we're in the middle of the pandemic and we are in the middle of a red hot pandemic.
All right, let's go to Audrey in Mauston. Hi, Audrey, what's your question?
Hi, my husband and I have both had the virus. How careful should we be now?
Well, first of all, you've had the virus, so quite likely, and that's the word, we don't really know, you have antibodies to the virus that probably protects you from getting the virus again. Now, probably and quite likely are adjectives, because the fact is we don't know if you get the virus once, can you get the virus a second or a third time. Many people with influenza, for instance, can get a case of influenza and then later on during the influenza case get another case of influenza. So you should use the same protection of everyone else. Do not assume that because you had COVID that you are protected from getting COVID and protected from spreading it for others. New science, we don't quite know.
All right, very good. Let's go to our next caller, Douglas in Madison. Hi, Douglas. What's your question?
Yeah, my question was this, did the virus get through the eyes when they were blow up hard?
The virus are droplets. The virus are droplets, and the answer, it's most likely when you take your fingers and touch your eyes, if your fingers had the virus on it. But the answer, yes, if somebody is close to you, coughs on you, you can get the virus through your nose, through your mouth, and through your eyes. So that's the idea behind when you go to see a doctor in the hospital or anyone else. They're wearing face shields, and the reason is, yes, the virus can actually also enter through the eyes.
All right, next we'll go to Patty in Partyville. Hi, Patty, what's your question?
Hi.
I don't understand the point of testing when there's so many false positives and negatives. And you can test one day and be negative, but then the next day you could be tested and be positive. So, I mean, that just seems...
Sure. I think that's a great question. First of all, you're most likely to be positive from day 5 on until about day 12, 13, or 14. The more we test, I think the more we have an idea of how much there is in our community and how much we actually have to take precautions. And then if you're testing an individual person and they're positive, they have to quarantine for 14 days. Now, the false positive and false negative rates are there, but they're much better than they were 3 months ago because the tests are better. And if they're done at a good site, the false negative rate is not nearly as high as we thought before. I'm not sure exactly what it is. For instance, at the Alliant Energy Center in Madison, it might be 10 or 20%. But again, on day 0, you're not going to get a positive the day you're exposed. But on day 5, there's about a 60 to 70% that you will be positive. So testing counts, and then tracing back who you've come into contact also counts. And the reason is it's booming.
Yeah, that's right. Let's go to Margie in Madison. Hi, Margie. What's your question?
Hi there. Listen, my question is this. If you have the test taken and you do not have the coronavirus, will the test show you whether or not you did have the coronavirus in the past?
No, that's an antibody test. That's a blood test. That's different. And the blood test is pretty good, but not perfectly good. I think there's about a 40%, something like 30, 40% false negative rate for the antibody test. When I looked at it last, it may have improved since that time, but the last time I looked in the data, the false negative rate was still that high. But when it comes to the nose, if you get the test through your nose, that is not going to show whether or not you had coronavirus. It only shows whether or not the virus is sitting in your nose now, which makes you infectious.
The other one's a blood test. All right, lots of questions as usual. Thank you all for calling in. We'll do this again next week. No, it's Thanksgiving next week. We won't do it next week. All right. Thank you, Zorba.
Take care.
Happy Thanksgiving, Zorba.
Happy Thanksgiving to you guys.
We'll have a final check of your forecast coming up.
Where's Daddy?
Save on the 2020 Nissan Rogue with rear automatic braking. Get 0% financing for up to 84 months on 14 models.
Did you know that Geico's whole 15 minutes thing, that came from me? Really? My first idea was, in 1/4 of an hour, your savings will tower. Over you, figuratively speaking. But that's not catchy, is it? That's not going to swim about in your brain. So I thought, what about 15 minutes, 15%? Serendipity.
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
Do you have dry, cracked hands from constant washing, cold weather, and hard work? Try O'Keefe's Working Hands. It's America's #1 selling hand cream for guaranteed relief for extremely dry, cracked hands. Also available in O'Keefe's Lip Repair. Guaranteed relief for extremely dry, cracked lips.
Carrier has a complete line of home heating products to keep your family comfortable this winter without burning your budget. With smart temperature management and remote access options, it's easier than ever to control your home's climate. And Carrier energy-efficient systems can help reduce utility bills without sacrificing comfort. For more complete comfort and greater peace of mind, turn to your Carrier expert.
Harker Heating and Cooling.
Where's Daddy?
Save on the 2020 Nissan Rogue with rear automatic braking. Save up to $1,000 on select models.
Hi, everyone. Friday morning, all eyes will be on Wisconsin as recounts in Dane and Milwaukee counties get underway.
We'll be live from where the counting will happen, and we'll let you know what to expect. That in your weekend forecast on News 3 Now this morning.
At News 3 Now, the FCC allowed us to boost the power of our broadcast signal. If you watch us using an antenna, you may need to activate the scan function on your TV menu to rescan available channels so you can continue to enjoy News 3 Now and CBS programming. Please rescan your TVs today.
All right, folks, if we look ahead throughout the rest of the month into early December, one of the trends that we have seen, including the folks at the Climate Prediction Center, is above normal temperatures and a greater probability of that for this part of the country. And again, that does not mean you won't see below normal days, but overall, the next 2 weeks are expected to generally be much warmer, and well, that means temperatures are going to be on the milder side even when they're cooler. We'll see temperatures that feel pretty good. Check this out. 50 for tomorrow, 39 on Saturday, 40 for Sunday, then we're back into the 30s on Monday, but then the rest of that forecast has temperatures into the low and mid 40s. Our average high now at this time of the year is cooling down to where it's in the upper 30s into the afternoons. Rain chances, we're going to watch some clouds for Sunday, and then we may see a rain chance on Tuesday as well. That may start out as some wintry weather before we warm up and turn things over to liquid.
All right, Chris, thank you very much. Tomorrow here on Live at 4, our news hounds have the top animal stories of the week, and Michael Bruno goes behind the screens and previews Capital City Theater's virtual production of Daddy Longlegs. That's coming up tomorrow here on Live at 4.